Well, let me tell you who our guest speaker is. He's no surprise to any of us. We know who he is. I loved what he came out with on April the 14th. I was looking back about life is about risk. That was the subject, April the 14th. April the 20th, how bad do you really want it? Man, that was so powerful. June the 2nd, he did one called I'm Not a Role Model, I'm a Real Model. Woo, I love that one. I love that one. And today, let me explain who he is, y'all. He just, he got started at the right young age of 20. He's only 28 to this day. I mean, I love this. He left his home country of Trinidad and always watched the planes fly overhead. One day. See, he was always dreaming. And that's why he's almost where he wants to go. And he's watching the plane go over here one day. So July 9th, 2002, he landed in Baltimore, Maryland, left Trinidad to come to America. And you'll wonder why he's where he's at. He doesn't anything hold him back, and neither should you. He just popped his second RVP. He will be, I'll say it again, he will be the youngest senior vice president in ACN. And I love that. I watched his story from him going up, going back down, to going back up, and never coming back down, because he's building a strong organization. And I want you to take heed of what he's got to say. He started 20, he's 28 years old now, living from between Baltimore, going down, building a new organization in Houston where his son's at, building another organization in Miami, where I had the pleasure about 2.5 months ago to take him out to lunch at just to say thank you for all you do for all of us. Without further ado, Regional Vice President, Super Platinum, the one and only, the great Mr. Shakeel Cooper.
Thank you for that amazing introduction. And I don't know what's going on, but I'm still trying to get connected with my Wi-Fi on my phone, because I was able to put together something special for everyone today, but I'm excited to be back. I know everyone's excited about the call today. And honestly, you know, everything that I've been telling you guys for the past year, I've just literally been watching my business literally just manifest to where it's at. You know, last week after the call, I told you guys, you know, I had another promotion that I had planned on coming in. And guess what happened? I woke up, I got on Instagram, and I saw I promoted another regional director.
So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen. And I just want to play a video so that we can kind of get started, because today is going to be a great day. So
enjoy the big Peterson!
These people that you're comparing yourself to, you don't really know very well. What that means is that you see their shiny outside, but you don't see the reality of their life. There's always people out there who are doing far better than you on pretty much anything you want to imagine. And if all you're doing is seeing yourself in their reflected light, let's say, then it's going to be pretty damn dismal. But it's not a good comparison because, well, first of all, there's danger in just comparing yourself to others, period, because they're not you. And God only knows what struggles they had to undertake to get to where they were, or what burdens they're currently carrying that you're not aware of. But you can certainly contrast yourself with yourself. And that's a lot better. It is the only way. Well, it's also the only way of really measuring anything approximating proper improvement. You can actually tell when you're a little better than you were yesterday.
Right.
And you can actually do that. That's another thing that's so interesting about it, is that you can actually make yourself a little better in some way, pretty much, well, I don't know if it's at every moment, but you can certainly do it every day. Be careful who you share good news with, because you want to share good news with people who are going to be genuinely happy for you, and be careful who you share bad news with, because that's equally tricky. You want someone who will listen to you when you're having trouble and allow you your grief. Beauty calls people to their higher being, I would say, and to make friends with beauty is to introduce yourself very carefully to one of the mysteries of life that make it worth living. There's never been a better time for the majority of people to be alive. And the future, although we're vulnerable and terrible things can always happen to us, it's hard to make a case that the future doesn't look comparatively positive. We're becoming extremely technologically sophisticated, and the world is changing at an incredibly rapid rate, and the only way we're going to be able to manage that in a positive way is if each of us, or as many of us as possible, are capable of making wise and careful and truthful decisions. And if we do that, then maybe things can continue to improve. you don't get people to stand up on their own 2 feet and to adopt responsibility if everything is given to them. And that's a real conundrum. You know, maybe you're in California, see someone speeding down the road in a convertible Porsche, and you think, oh man, what a lucky bastard. And the truth of the matter is that he's thinking about wrapping his expensive sports car around the next cement pillar that he comes close to. You know, you can't tell. And people have hard lives. And even people who are comparatively fortunate have hard lives. And the ideal that you're observing that makes you jealous and resentful is in large part an illusion that's created by your own mind. You have to be careful of what you're jealous of because you don't really know what it is. And then the other thing that's kind of useful is to understand you're quite different from other people, and you shouldn't be comparing yourself to them because they're not like you. They don't have your family. They don't have your temperament. They don't have your troubles. They don't have your abilities. The only person that has those is you. One of the rules, I think it's rule 4, is compare yourself to who you were yesterday and not to who someone else is today. And see, that's a game you can win. The possibility that you can make yourself slightly better on a continual basis is, I think that's something that's accessible to everyone. I think that's equivalent to leading a virtuous life. And there is something to be said for virtue and truth. You know, and that is one thing. Another thing that I've noticed about people who've been phenomenally successful is that they really do everything they can to live a truthful life. And you can get a bloody long ways by being honest. You got to know that there are differences in intelligence. It's really important. If you go into a job and you're not smart enough for that job, you're going to have one bloody miserable time. And you're going to make life wretched for the people around you because you won't be able to handle the position. But what you really want to do, as far as I can tell, if you want to maximize your chances for both success and let's say well-being, is you want to find a strata of occupation in which you would have an intelligence that would put you in the upper quartile. That's perfect. Then you're a big fish in a small pond. And you don't want to be the stupidest guy in the room. It's a bloody rough place to be. So, and you probably don't want to be the smartest guy in the room either, because what that probably means is you should be in a different room. If you want to be the best at what you're doing, bar none, then having an IQ of above 145 is a necessity, and maybe you're pushing 160 in some situations, and maybe that's making you one person in 10,000 or even one person in 100,000. And then also, to really be good at it, you probably have to be reasonably stress tolerant and also somewhat conscientious. Why is it that smart people are at the top of dominance hierarchies? And the answer to that in part is because they get there first, right? I mean, everything's a race, roughly speaking, and the faster you are, the more likely you are to be at the forefront of the pack. And intelligence in large part is speed. That's not all of it is. So if you're moving towards something difficult rapidly, the faster people are going to get there first. You're going to have to put some effort into your life. And you need to be motivated to do that. And so what are the potential sources of motivation? Well, you could think about them in the big 5 manner. You know, if you're extroverted, you want friends. If you're agreeable, you want an intimate relationship. If you're disagreeable, you want to win competitions. If you're open, you want to engage in creative activity. If you're high neuroticism, you want security. Okay, so those are all sources of potential motivation that you could draw on, that you could tailor to your own, your own personality. But then there are dimensions that you want to consider your life across. And so we ask people about, well, if you could have your life the way you wanted it in 3 to 5 years, if you were taking care of yourself properly, what would you want from your friendships? What would you want from your intimate relationship? How would you like to structure your family? What do you want for your career? Well, how are you going to use your time outside of your job? And how are you going to regulate your mental and physical health, and maybe also your drug and alcohol use, because that's a good place to auger down. And that tangles in your incentive reward system. We talked about the dopaminergic incentive reward system, and that's the thing that keeps you moving forward. And the way it works is that it works better if it produces positive emotion when it can see you moving towards a valued goal. Okay, well, what's the implication of that? Better have a valued goal, because otherwise you can't get any positive motivation. Most creative people fail at producing their creative product and monetizing it, right? So your default position, if you're a creative person, is you're going to fail. And that's because it's hard to come up with something new, and it's hard to present it to the market at the right time, and it's hard to market it. Like, those things are really, really difficult. And so what successful entrepreneurs do is they just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And eventually, if they're fortunate, one of their ideas happens to hit the right place at the right time. Even if your idea is good, that doesn't mean it will be successful. There's so many things that have to be taken into account. So this is partly why persistence, and that's part of conscientiousness, is so useful. It's like, persistence is helpful because it enables you to run many, many experiments. And you need to know that the baseline is failure. You know, it's important, because otherwise you'll blame that on yourself. You know, and some of that's useful because there's probably some things that you could improve about yourself. But it's very difficult to go from 0 to 1, you know.
What I got out of that video was, you either want it or you don't. You know, after watching that video, if you didn't take notes, you didn't learn anything, I mean, it blew me away just sitting here listening to everything that he said. And it's honestly, it's true, because what I learned, that success leaves clues. So what I came down to was that you either want it or you don't want it. And I tell people that all the time, that no matter what you're doing in life, it can be MLM, it can be own business, you know, whatever you want to do, if you really don't want it bad enough, you're going to quit when times get hard. And that's the reason why most people today are not successful in whatever they want to do, because they really don't want it bad enough. So you got to ask yourself this question: how bad do you really want it? And then from there, you see this all the time. What is your why? You know, I ask people this all the time. What is your why? What is your why? Because if you don't have a reason why, you're not going to get to where you're trying to go. And the reason why, because if you don't know where you're trying to go to, how are you going to get there? It's kind of like going on your phone, go to your GPS. If you don't put an address in, it's not going to take you anywhere. So it's the same way with your mind. If you don't put it in your mind where you're trying to go, what you're trying to be, and why you're doing what you're doing, then you're not going to be motivated enough to go out there and actually make it happen. And we all have whys, and your why should be your family. You know, that should be the first reason why. So whenever people tell me they don't have a why, I just said, think about something other than yourself. What is going to push you to really keep going? And guess what it's going to be? It's going to be your why. From there, I tell people this all the time, right? A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So again, if you are on this call and you've seen everything so far and you listening and you don't have a reason why, this right here should be a reason why. It should be to give back to your family or to give back to your kids, because our goal is just not to work until we're 75, 80 years old and then retire and live for a few years. No, your job is to ultimately build something up that you can pass down for generations to come. And that's my ultimate goal in doing this business. And I tell people this all the time. Do you want to win in this business? This is where you should take a lot of notes. You should want to save yourself time, energy, and money. And you probably heard me say this before. By the show of hands on the call, whoever heard me mention this before, save yourself time, energy, and money. We can agree that this is the reason why every time we do these calls, I always come back to you, what? A new big coach. And what I always tell you, I didn't have nothing personal to do with it. It's the system that's running for me 24/7, 365. It's the system. This is the fastest way to make money in network marketing, is do the system way. And for so long, you try to beat it in people's head that do the system way, do it the way. But most people have been trained to just do it their own way. And if you ever heard about this guy named J. Paul Getty, he was like one of the first billionaires. He said it's better to get 1% of 100 people effort than 100% of your own. And if you don't live by that quote, then you're the person that just want to work for the rest of your life. I truly believe in leverage income. When I tell you I love it, the reason why I love it, because guess what? I can now have more time to do the things that I really want to do. So every day that you wake up, ask yourself this question: is your business system driven? If your business is not system driven, then you're not really doing the business, because the business is meant to work for you. Because your ultimate goal was not to get involved in the business and be the only person working. To find other people that's like-minded, that's just like you, that's going to go out there and build their business. But because they have the system, they don't need you to be there all the time in order for your business to grow. So if you're taking notes, I want you to write at the top of your paper, is your business system driven? And if your business is not system driven, if your business is not growing without you, if new people are not signing up, if new people are not getting customers, and it's not being done without you, then you don't have a system driven business yet. But the ultimate goal is to keep going until you arrive to the point where you now have people in your organization that's just running the system and having success without you. From there, you got to ask yourself, which one do you want? Do you want results, or do you want to keep giving yourself excuses? But I promise you, you cannot have results and excuses at the same time. So if I was you, I would just eliminate all excuses if you plan on having results, because the journey is not going to be easy. But more importantly, you just can't have excuses and make money at the same time. It just doesn't work. From there, as they talked about in the video, your goal is to ultimately do is what? Just fail. First attempt in learning. You got to fail your way to the top because you're brand new to this industry. You don't know anything. And most of the time, most people, they're scared to fail because they think about what their friends might think, what their mom might think, what their spouse might think. Listen, who cares what anybody thinks about you? No one got good overnight. You got to fail your way to the top. The reason why I got good in this industry because I did it every day from the moment that I signed up in it. I did it every day. I got great fast because I didn't take a day off. I dropped out of school. I quit my job. And listen, I'm not telling you to do that, but Applebee's wasn't going to get me nowhere because I was just going there so that I didn't look like a failure in life, you know? And I told you, we all humans, right? I felt like a failure also because all my friends was going to college and I'm at Applebee's. I felt like a bum. But then after that, I realized once I started my own business, I started making more money than all of my friends and my teachers. So to me, I was like, man, failure is not bad because guess what? I just failed my way to where I'm at today. So while people are scared to fail, I don't care what people think about me failing because every time I fail, I get better at it. So go out there and fail yourself to the top. You also want to do is what? Keep it super simple. Keep your business super simple. Keep your system super simple. Keep everything that you do super simple. When you think about a business like Amazon, why is Amazon so successful? It's a simple business. They're just a middleman company that delivers whatever, and they're just the middleman. Their business model is super simple. And if you think about any major business that's still successful today, they're a simple business. Think about ASM, for example. They've been involved in business for 28 years now. But what do? They help build a team of people, teach them how to acquire customers, and that's all that we do. And we attend events. Our business model is super simple. So your system should also be super simple. And what is the system again? Saving yourself time, energy, and money. Meaning that all you got to do is just share the opportunity with people. Once people get involved in the business, they will invite their friends, their family members to a webinar. And then you share the opportunity with them. When someone sign up, then you start teaching their business partners how to do the presentation. Your presentation should only be 15 to 20 minutes max. If you're talking for more than 20 minutes, you're talking too much. And I tell people, keep it super simple because the more simple that you keep it, the more success that you will have. And so many times people complicate this business and they stress themselves out and tell themselves this don't work. But I'm like, no, you are just making it more complicated than it really is, because if a college dropout from Baltimore City, Applebee's, no business background, knew anything about this industry, to get involved and to have success for almost this October will make it 8 years straight that my organization's been winning. From no matter what happened throughout my journey, we've always went months and put in reps and customers, no matter what the amount is. My business grew every single month for the past 8 years. Why? Because we keep it super simple. You also want to spend less time on your TV set and more time on your mindset. I'm just being real. I don't watch TV. It's nothing on TV for me. And if you're watching TV right now, I can imagine the type of mindset you have if you watch TV most of the time during the day. And the reason why I say that because there's nothing but junk on TV. They're just going to keep throwing fear in your face. So guess what? If you spend that same amount of time picking up a book or learning about something, mastering whatever you're trying to do, I promise you, you'll get there faster than watching TV. What I did was, listen, the last time I bought a TV was like 8 years ago. And I never bought another one because I just go to YouTube. Stop watching TV. And I promise you, you'll be more successful in life. Because guess what? The TV's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. But what about your goals? Don't just sit around wasting your life by being more entertained and going out there and just doing something that's going to help you in the long run. And you also want to stay, like I tell people all the time, this is a perfect example why being alone is better than being with the wrong person or the wrong people, because you might have people that look like the person on the right, where they have the mask on when they look happy, but that's really them in the inside. Who here we can agree that you know some people like that? They smile, they act like everything is okay, but you know, deep down, that's what they really look like. And I tell people all the time, bad energy scares the money away. This is why most negative people live a negative lifestyle and have a negative bank account, because their energy is just negative. They have a negative energy about themselves. So if you are around negative people, that's what's going to happen with you. If you're around positive people, positive things are going to happen to you. From there, too many people sit on the sideline and never get in the game because they're afraid to get criticized, lose, or get embarrassed. And the crazy part is you'll mainly be ridiculed by non-accomplished critics in the stands. And all real winners know mistakes and failures is a part of the game. This is the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. Unsuccessful people are scared. And they're scared because they're scared of what their friends might think. They're scared of, just not getting to where they're trying to get to go. Some people might say, I'm going to get involved in the business and blow it up in a year. And you've been in for a year and you haven't got to where you're trying to go to. And to yourself, you feel as though you're a failure. But you're really not a failure, because you got to continue to fail your way in order to start winning. You got to fail your way to the top. Like, listen, nobody ended up at the top overnight. This has been years and years and years and years to where as though, I look at my organization more of the Patriots. Just think about it, right? There some teams that they're just winning teams. No matter who's a part of the team, if they become part of the organization and they're coachable and they follow the system, they're winners. Well, listen, I'm telling you right now, every single month for the rest of my career, I will be promoted a regional director in my organization. Every month. Because now we're looking at RD as ETL. So you got people in your organization that's coming in, they thinking 600 points in 90 days. What do you think is going to happen to your organization? It's going to grow out of control. I set a goal. I told myself my business will be more than 10,000 customers before the end of the year. Listen, I'm literally almost less than 1,000 points away from 10,000 customer points in my organization. Because the system. Do you understand that I'm telling you that I'm not this special Superman that's running around doing? I'm telling you that I got a system that's running for me. If I work or if I don't work, the system is running. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a system, then you're going to find yourself working all day, every day. And people use these obstacles all the time. You've probably seen this before. They use money. I don't have the money. Listen. I didn't have the money either. I was getting paid $3.63 when I started. I was a college student. I didn't have money. I was a full-time college student. I knew I had the ability and I wasn't scared. My only two problems was the money and the time. But guess what? I didn't make any of those excuses. I figured out the money. I figured out the time because I made the time. I already had the ability. I don't have no fear because I'm not scared to fail, because the only way you're going to get to success is through failure. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You're not going to find yourself becoming successful without failing, because why would you even want to be successful if you never failed at something? It doesn't make sense. It's just like a person winning the lottery. You might have a lot of money today, but if you're not used to money management, guess what's going to happen to you by the end of the year? You're probably going to be broke. Think about all the people that got a bunch of money last year. Now most of them is broke today because why? They spent the money. They're not used to having large sums of money at one time. So when you give people that's never had money, a lot of money, 9 times out of 10, they're going to blow it because they never had the failure where they had it before, and then they lost it, and then they appreciated it and they got it back. If you just give people money that's just never had it before, what are they going to do? So if you want to be successful, be consistent. Success is simple. It's just consistency. You are the system. So anytime I mention the system, you are the system, because whatever you do is what your team is going to do, because you're setting the pace. They're watching you. They're not watching your mentor. They're watching you, the people that you brought involved in the business with. Give them something to run with. Give them something that's working. Because there are some people that you don't got to do everything for them. They don't want you all in that business doing everything. But if you give them something where they can run and teach the other people and everyone's winning, guess what happens? The team is winning. So from there, this right here is important, right? Your goals don't care how you feel. Take a picture of this. If you haven't taken a picture of this, take a picture of this. And I want to talk about a few things. If you're saying that the reason why you're not successful, hold on one second. I want you to ask yourself this question, right? Where can you reduce your expenses? Netflix. Do you watch Netflix, Hulu? Wait, you know, how much money does that make you? We're just having a real conversation. You guys gave me the goal to have a real conversation with you guys a while ago. So I'm asking you a real question. What return on your investment are you getting from watching Netflix, Hulu, and all of these shows every day? What do you get? I know people that still watch Young and the Restless. They've been watching for 50 years now. Bold and the Beautiful. Every day at 12 o'clock. They know everything about, what's his name? Dang, I forgot the guy name, man. Victor. Y'all know who Victor is. Victor been on the show 60 years. My grandmother watched that show. My mom watched that show. You know, I don't know what it is, but people are addicted to things that don't make them money. From there, car. You know, listen, if you're driving an expensive car and it's not making no money and it's costing you a bunch of money, listen, get a different car or put it on Turo, rent it out, let it make you some money, you know? Find creative ways to start generating income, fast food. Stop eating junk food. Stop eating it. It's terrible for you. Just stop eating junk food. Like, it's every time I see people eat junk food, I just think to myself, you don't love yourself. You just don't love yourself because there are healthier ways to eat and it costs less. I'm not just here to teach you about money, right? Phone bill, right? If you got an expensive phone, you know, you get a cheaper phone. Vice, if you smoke cigarettes, stop it. You don't need it. It's killing you. I'm just having a real conversation. Why would you continue to invest in something that's killing you, that's hurting your health? It doesn't make sense to me. Coffee. I know some people like coffee, but guess what? You don't need it. Coffee in the long run is bad for you if you didn't know that. If you want to have energy when you wake up in the morning, let me give you a tip. Drink a hot cup of water, just regular spring water, and don't eat until after 12 o'clock, and you'll have a lot of energy. You don't need coffee every single day because think about it, right? That $6-7 that you spend every single day, it's an extra couple $100 that you could have invested back into your business somewhere. Brands, while you're investing money into other people's brands, why not start your own brand? Listen, if you see me, I wear white tee unless it's my brand. I don't care. I'm not promoting anybody's business. But I will promote mine. And I understand, listen, some of these brands, I like the quality, but guess what? You're not going to catch me with no big logo promoting somebody else's family, and I can spend that same money on something that's mine. I'm just saying, it's just me. I'm just giving you my opinion. Groceries, eat healthy, binge shopping. Listen, if you have a shopping problem, start going to the Rolls Royce dealership. Start going to the place that you know you can't afford right now. Because what it's going to do is going to trick your mind to, I'd rather binge shop on things that I want in life than just go to the store and buy a whole bunch of things that I can afford, but I don't really need. So when I have that binge shopping feeling, guess what I do? I go to the Bentley dealership. I go to the Rolls Royce dealership. I go hang out where there's a lot of money at because I know that you need a lot of money to be in this area. So that's my definition of binge shopping. Because guess what? What it does, it makes me want those things. But I know that I need $300,000 for a Rolls Royce. And I'm not there yet. But guess what? I want to be able to go shopping one day and say, I want to get a Rolls Royce. So I trick my mind in that way when it comes to shopping. And cable TV, you already know. Turn off the TV and turn off your life. From there, sometimes your circle decreases in size, but increases in value. And don't get sidetracked by people that ain't even on track. Meaning that you're going to have to cut some people off to get you trying to go. And I know it's sad. And I know most people hate having this conversation, but that's probably why you're not where you're at right now, because your friends, that you can only count on them when it's time to party. You can only count on them when it's time to just hang out and drink. But how many of your friends or family members that you talk to all the time that you can call on and say, hey, let's go have fun in business. Hey, let's start something. Let's learn something. Nobody want to learn. People rather be entertained. How many people, man, listen, let's go to the park and read a book. You only find one person, but pick your phone up and call someone to ask them, hey, let's go get a beer. You can easily find someone. So I started hanging around people that had a different state of mind that I wanted to be at. I'm not there yet, but I understand that in order to have the things that you want in life, you got to put yourself around that energy. And guess what's going to happen? It's going to start attracting to you. Listen, if you tell yourself you don't like alcohol, why would you hang around someone that drink all the time? If you say you don't like people that smoke cigarettes, why would you hang around someone that smokes cigarettes? Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to become just like the people that you hang around, but it's only going to take you a matter of time before you become just like them. It might not happen overnight, but I promise you, just give it some time. Have you ever seen a pure, innocent kid that started hanging around the bad kids? What happens to that good kid? He becomes corrupt. But it doesn't happen overnight, but it become a pattern. And then before you know it, you're just like the people that you're hanging around. So I choose to just hang around quality, like-minded people, right? And there's no secret. It's only hard work. I tell people entrepreneurship is a marathon. Listen, even if you hit these promotions fast, that's great because you're setting the pace, but guess what happened? You still got to keep going. So that's why I tell people all the time, don't burn yourself out because this is a marathon. You got to be able to have this energy for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. How long you plan on keep on going? Because most people, it's about right now, right now, right now, right now, right now. October this year, make it 8 years for me. I still feel like I'm brand new because I'm not burnt out. Because I know that this is a marathon. I went years nonstop, just go, 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 go. Took a little bit of time, spent some time with the family. Business is still booming. After we got off the call last Wednesday and we got on the ACN 230 call, right? Who was the number one RVP last month? That was in my organization. So what I'm telling you is proof. The system is just rolling because the system is the only thing that matters. That's why I can't compare myself with anybody else because guess what? I'm not competing with no one. My system, the system is what you're in competition with. But you can't be in competition with a system that's producing real numbers, real paychecks, and the team is making real money. Because guess what happened? It trickles down. So if you're not making no money, I can promise you your team not making too much money either. It's a system. We all got to make money together. When somebody get qualified, everybody gets paid. That's how it's supposed to be. Because guess what? When you build your business that way, you don't got to worry about your people's leaving you. Why they gonna leave you? They're making money. The things I'm seeing now today, I'm just like, man, I'm happy I didn't leave y'all and make sure that y'all was straight. And by me making sure that they're good, guess what? They're good forever. Because guess what? I told them exactly what to do. Be smart with your money. Don't blow your money on things that's not going to make you money. So instead of them just making money, I told them, hey, listen, don't do the things that I did. Because if you have your people who's doing things that's going to hurt them financially in the long run, when those things happen, guess what happened? They complain and they come cry to you and they come looking for your help. But I'd rather tell you up front what not to do so that you don't come back to me crying about what you did do. Learn from my mistakes and understand that it's all about how long you can stay in the race without quitting. How long can you stay without quitting? How long can you stay without quitting? That's the real question. How long can you stay without quitting? Because the average people, they come and go. You know how many people I've seen come and go? And I'm just like, man, you don't understand. I started with nothing. You had all of the help, everything. I'm still here. I don't complain. And I've been through a lot. But guess what? I'm so happy that I did everything my mentor told me to do. Just everything. He worked like I was working for his real estate company. And if you know anything about real estate, there's a system in real estate. So the system is because I was literally put right into a system the moment that I got involved. He's like, call this person, set this meeting up, do this. And I'm just like, send me the list. I'm just like, yo, did I get a job? I'm like, but he worked me like I was working for his real estate company, send the confirmation calls. And people used to be like, why y'all doing all this extra stuff? But fast forward to 2021, who's winning for doing all of that extra stuff still? And I'm not telling you I'm doing it. The team is running the system. See, that's the best part about what I'm telling you. I'm not saying I. I'm just telling you that system is working, not about me. And it should not be about you either. But how can you implement a system if at first you don't become the system? Because people only do what you do not what you say. And people will only respect you when you have proven yourself for the success. From there, if you're searching for the one that'll change your life, just take a look in the mirror. You gotta do too much work. Only you gonna change your life. Like I tell people all the time, stop waiting for somebody else to come around and save you. You're gonna be waiting forever. I don't expect nobody to do anything for me. When I tell you nobody, zero. Not my mama, nobody. I don't care. Listen, nobody's gonna change my life with me. And once I understood that, people can never let you down. Listen, this is why I don't have problems with people, because I don't rely on nobody but me. Listen, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. I cannot rely on other people, because guess what? Most people can't rely on themselves. So if most people can't rely on themselves, why would I expect somebody else? No. And I'm just telling these things so that you can save yourself the emotional turmoil that you're going to have throughout your journey, because you're going to be expecting people to support you that can't even support themselves. And don't let social media have you rushing your life goals. And this is for everybody. Old, young, it don't matter. Because when you get on social media and you see people living these lives, most of it is fake. It's fake. Social media is not real. I know the real. It's not real. So you're making yourself feel bad about stuff that's not even real. It's not a real world. People just post their highlights. They just post their highlights. So use social media as inspiration. Don't look at other people's life on there and compare life, because, man, I know people that look like they're rich on social media, and in real life, it ain't even close. But guess what you're doing when you do that? You start rushing yourself, and then you're putting yourself in more financial burden, because you got to keep up with this image that you put out there. And do you know how expensive it is to keep up with the image? If you look at most artists, right? No matter if it's a rapper or a singer, whatever, right? Why is most artists in the music industry always go broke? Because they got to continue to live up to this lifestyle. So because they came in and they said they got all this money, guess what? They got to show you for the rest of their career that they making all that money, and they're willing to do anything. And guess what? It's people in real life. They're willing to do anything to show people on social media that they live in this life. And guess what? It's not real. So again, you went to 10 jobs, I know you've probably seen this before, and you was determined to get it. You didn't stop until you was employed, right? And then you started this business, and most people do what? They complain. They complain, right? But I just saw this question. What if you just had that urgency on yourself? What if you had the urgency on yourself to keep going? Because are you okay with working 8 hours a day for 50 years to asking someone for permission for time off? Are you okay with that? I mean, actually, I don't know about you, but listen, are you okay with working for the next 50 years? Because the 40-40-year plan is over. People are working 50 plus now. How many people you know retire? I'll wait. I don't know any. And if they are, they can't do too much. So what's the point of working 50 plus years and you can't do anything? Why not live that now? I've been living since I was 20 years old. Because I told myself I refuse to work for someone else. It's nothing wrong. Listen, it's nothing wrong, because listen, I put my time in, but guess what? I'm 20 myself. Listen, if I keep doing what they doing, that's gonna be me. Because if I go to the Applebee's right now that I used to work at, there's people that's been there for 20 years doing the same thing. Every time I go there, I see the dishwasher. He's been there for 20 years, still washing dishes. There's nothing wrong with it. He's my homie when I see him, but guess what? If I was still there, I would be just like everybody else there. I went to a cookout the other day for one of my friends. I seen so many people from high school, and I was like, what? I'm like, listen, we ain't been out of school that long. What happened? Because when I look at myself, I look younger today than I did when I graduated high school. Most of the people I graduated high school with look twice their age. And I'm just like, and I was the oddball. I was the person that everyone laughed at in high school. I was weirdo when I wanted to go vegan and all of this stuff. But I'm like, man, I'm on the right track. Because when I look I'm like, I'm happy I did what I wanted to do, because guess what? If I did what everybody else is doing, I would have how everybody else is having. So your plan should be time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. Don't do what everybody else is doing. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. Because if you don't do what you want to do, you will be working with someone for the next 50 plus years. You'll probably never have the chance to ever retire, because the way the world is moving, everything is going up and you got to make some money. So don't wait until you need the money. Just do it now. Most people don't have no plans on when they plan on retiring. You know, I remember I listened to this one song, and I'm almost done, but I listened to this one song and Drake was like, forget retiring when I'm 40. I'm trying to do it now. Why retire at 40 if you can do it now? So that's all I have for you guys today, and we'll be back next week. So hopefully you guys were able to learn something, and it was a great event. So I pass the call back to you, Mr. Thomas.